Beautiful. Okay, so this is Antiquary Paladin. And they said DPS single weapon fighter Paladin for endgame. Artifact is Gear Tetris for more survivability. I could go with the Ring Artifact and use Charisma Winter Bracers. Very wild. Charisma Winter Bracers? What do you mean Charisma Winter Bracers? For HP and AC. Unless, is there a new item that I missed out on? A Charisma Winter item? Is that new? I haven't seen that yet. Is it in the builder? Yeah, there's a Charisma Summer Bracer. There is a Charisma Summer Bracer. Yeah, because you're thinking of the Van Braces of the Summer Court, the Insightful Double Strike and Extra Smite Charisma Bracer. Which is a very good item, by the way. Okay. But yeah, single weapon fighter DPS for Paladin endgame. So that's what we're looking at today. So this is a single weapon fighter Paladin. It is a strength-based Paladin, which is interesting. I'm curious as to why no charisma-based Paladin, but that's kind of neat. If other winter braces are better, you switch back. Is there notes? No notes. Okay, sounds good. Strength 104, lots of strength, very strong. Character is playing as an Azamar, so being able to grab some of the strength from the Azamar tree as well, which is pretty good. Starting with a 17 strength, 17 con. With the tomes, I'm assuming that's because you get an even, which you don't, but this one is odd, so we'll see. Since you don't even end up with like an even constitution, this is the perfect moment to look at this and say, well, my constitution is not the correct number here, and you don't have any way to get 1 point of constitution, so we'll revisit this later, and if this is still odd at the end of it, you dump down 1 point. Oh, in Reaper mode, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 bonus points of Constitution, which still brings us to an odd number. Like, even if I take your stats and, oh, and marshal him? Oh, this is with it says, yeah, Primal Scream is not active. Okay, there you go. Yeah, with Primal Scream. Alright, just double checking. Always double check with your stats, by the way. This is one of the ways you can do that. So let's take a look at the actual character build. Single weapon fighting, Onatar. I'm assuming that you just go with Onatar because you want to get the Onatar's Forge ability, which gives you 10 melee power, and plus 3 tactical DCs as well. Completionist, improved single weapon fighting, greater single weapon fighting, Child of Faith. I'm assuming this is a longsword build. Power attack, overwhelming critical, beloved of the divine, which all of this seems fine. Perfect single weapon fighting. I don't know exactly why you would use power attack over precision. I'm assuming your character is going to rage somehow, but you're not a half-orc. I guess because if you would become immune to Primal Scream if you are using precision. I don't think that's how that works. I don't think Primal Scream is a true rage, but it might be. It all depends on what your fortification bypass is. Fortification bypass 81%, which could be made a smidge better. And hit chance with Soul Razor is looking at 162, which could be made a smidge better. Oh, it's not a rage? Oh, yeah, if it's not a rage, then you definitely should not be using Power Attack. But we'll take a look at some of this other stuff later. Again, Blinding Speed, assuming that you don't have a speed item into this build, but, like, the odds that you don't have a speed item are really, really low. And your character does not have a speed item, but you could get an augment. I don't know if you're willing to go for the augment. Also, a Thunderforged Orb is very interesting, going for first degree burns, Dragon's Edge, and third degree burns on an orb on an offhand. Very, very interesting. Preferring to go with the Thunderforged effect instead of the melee effect. The benefit of Dragon's Edge is you get 35% armor piercing on an offhand, which is kind of interesting. A lot of people don't think about that, versus like an Alchemical Orb, where you can grab the crafting augment, which is not input into the builder, so you have to do it yourself, do it by hand. But yeah, so I would definitely swap out Power Attack for Precision in a very, very short period of time. Improve Power Attack for plus 5W? No way. Not on a one-hander. Yeah, the tomes are in here, so it's got all the tomes. And then Blinding Speed, again, I would augment if possible. If you don't want to use an augment, you don't have to, but I'm just going to put in bonus feat as epic damage reduction instead, if you want to take that as an alternative. Again, depending on whether you have the augment or not. It's basically use an augment for 10 PRR. It's not too bad if you have that ability. You have Scion of Arborea down here. All right. So now let's look at some of the next set of things, which is Enhancement Tree. So it's Knight of the Chalice, going with the Vistani Knife Fighter to grab quick reflexes for the quick draw, as well as getting deflect arrows, and taking up the additional enhancement here for the haste boost, which is pretty good. Grabbing the extra defensive stats out of Falconry for the conditioning, taking the extra strength while Divine Purpose is active, and then having three Divine Purpose charges. That's kind of interesting. I guess it's just not enough points to be able to spend anywhere else to grab any more. And then Sacred Defender going for the extra Lay on Hands. Lay on Hands is not too bad. I would be hesitant to put 3 points in here. I would probably put 1 more point into Divine Purpose, just because the odds are you're going to need to use this more than 3 times. You'd want that extra minute on the Divine Purpose, since you already put the extra strength in here, the extra 5 strength while using this, which is pretty good. So I would probably do 1 more point of Divine Charge, which is better than whatever you have here in the Sacred Defender. As far as the Knight of the Chalice tree goes, Smites, Divine Might. This is good, this is good, this is good. All this stuff is good. The improved turning, I don't know if your character is capable of turning undead. If you are to use swaps, so you're swapping in a Celestial Beacon, plus you're casting the other turn ability, this might be okay. But you've got a lot of points spent in here. This is assuming that you can turn it. So say you're going into like Too Hot to Handle or something, and you want to turn things, then you can. Turn Undead equals +3 Smite. How does Turn Undead turn into +3 Smite? What do you mean? I don't understand. Smites and Turn Undeads are different things. The Turn Undead charges were Smite? No, they're separate charges. Completely different. No, they're completely different. Yeah, so you can just take the points right out of there. Yeah, it's +3 AP onto the build. So that's good already. That's a good start. So if you wanted to keep your Lay on Hands, you could swap that out. So just do a quick rebuild of this tree. Grab this and this and this, and you don't need to strike through, so you just take this. You take this, you grab Tree at Ease. Tree at Ease right there. Grab this, grab this, grab this, grab this. Your character is supposed to be in what? Red Knot? Fatesinger. Is the active destiny, which is fine. And also, Confront Any Foe died. So, we need to change that, too. And you have... This is a Tier 1, so you don't need to have that many points spent there. Hail of Blows for a Tier 2 is fine. Meld is fine. You don't need to Twist Marshal him. And Confront Any Foe is also fine. I'm going to look at some of this stuff. Yeah. So we're swapping that out. Yeah, Confront Any Foe has been changed, so it does not have the same animation that it used to have, which is unfortunate. The Strength, this, and this, and this, and this. You actually don't even need Avenging Cleave. I personally don't use it, but you could make good use out of Avenging Cleave. And then you have the extra action boost here, which you can spend your points in. You want the extra action boost here? I don't even know. You want that action boost. Because right now, character is running around with 1 action boost here from Vistani Haste Boost and takes Dance of Flowers. So you have a total of 6 action boosts right now. And, okay. Yes, thank you. Does this every time. Okay. Okay, okay. Try it again. I cannot get this thing to work. Go away. Okay, the Epic Destiny is really screwed. I don't know why, but the Epic Destiny causes everything to freeze, which is terrifying. They're from Prowess. Yeah. And it's got sprint boost as well. So, yeah, the melee power is not too bad. I was thinking you would just twist this instead, so you could save some more points in the tree and spend them in other places. So, like, for example, you have 4 points available, so you could grab more strength if you wanted, because you just picked up 2 strength. You could pick up another point of strength, possibly even 2. Because you can grab, yeah, strength here, and you can't go into strength in there. You can't get strength over there. It looks like only 1 point of strength. And there's no point to grab 1 point of strength in this build. You grab Divine Charge. If you want to have additional damage, you can just straight up take Critical Mastery if you want to have extra damage. Alternatively, you don't want to take any of the defensive stances. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I don't know where else you would spend these points. So yeah, you'd probably just take the action boosted damage. Then you have the extra action boost, because I was going to say you could twist it, but you don't need to twist it. And then as far as this tree goes, as I said, you want to swap a Confront Any Foe for something else. There's a lot of good options in other places in the tree. Even at a Divine Not Divine Crusader. Consecrate's not that, or it's not too bad if you have all of Consecrate, but you don't take all of Consecrate. Again, I absolutely don't love Hail of Blows. What you could do instead is you go with 3/3/3 and grab. No, stop freezing. Help. Oh no. Is this going to keep happening? I hope that there's some type of fix for this. I do not know why this is happening. But you grab Grim Precision instead, and then your character's just got a little bit more raw offense, because you will need more fortification bypass. Now you're up to 86%, and then with Precision it brings you up to 120 or 121%, and 111%, which is pretty good. As far as the Fatesinger tree goes, you've got Bound Fate, you've got the Rain, you've got Marshal Him, you got this, you got that, you got this. It's all pretty much good. The only thing I would possibly make a change for is grabbing Quicken on here, but it's up to you. It's not too bad. Yeah, Boulder's Might is also an option. Boulder's Might's not too bad. If you want the frontal, which is good. Running with Cloud gives you closest double strike cap. That's true. Well, this gives Hail of Blows. Oh, this is on a tier 3. Oh, this is on a tier 3. Oh, yeah, that's even better. 100%. Yeah. That's of course a genius observation. Is running with the wind is 6% double strike, plus it gives the movement speed, which is generally going to be better than the Hail of Blows, because this character is at 92%, and this is also a tier 2. So you would swap this to running with the wind. You would swap this to Hail of Blows. No. You'd swap this to Grim Precision. You would knock this one down. And you still can't fit anything else. I always forget that running with the wind gives 6% double strike on your melee attacks. Plus it gives you the movement speed. Yeah, Cocoon is also good. This character is not really built for self-healing and is very close to 100% double strike, which is pretty good. And the closer you get to 100%, it's good. This also gets 5% double strike by activating its main ability, its stance. Oh, is that already factoring in the Azamar effect? The extra 5% from Scourge? Yeah, the Divine Purpose. That is already factoring that in. So you're 5% away. 5% away, which is very, very close. All right. Post this on your review vid, but Acute Instincts is crazy good for tier 2 and a Wisdom caster for shifters. Acute Instincts? Well, it is, because it gives you extra Wisdom. It's not too bad. If you're playing as a shifter, yeah. What else is here? So let's look at items. So this character is running the part of the family set because it's classic. 3-piece of the winter and not a 4-piece of winter, which I find very interesting. Well, I don't know why you would run only a 3-piece of winter and not a 4-piece. You're just missing out on that hit points. Summer Bracers and Int Ring would probably be better here. Yeah, if you're not going for the 4-piece winter, then for sure it's better to swap out to some other stuff. Because your character already has 2505 hit points. So your character is pretty beefy and has a lot of hits. So not picking up that last little bit. And this is also not even including Reaper and what have you. Yeah, your character is also running the Eminence of Summer. So you want to run the Intelligence Artifact instead of this one. Because the Intelligence Artifact gives Insightful... Or is it Quality? The Blood Sigil Ring, I believe, is Quality Deadly, Deception, and Combat Mastery, which is not too bad. You also have the Radiant Ring of Terra Valestis, which is Quality Accuracy and Quality Deadly, and it gives Wisdom, which gives you more defense as a Paladin, which is probably going to be better than the Quality Deception. I just don't know if you have Quality Accuracy anywhere already. The Wisdom Ring would just straight up be better than the other one if you wanted to do that. So you would do something along the lines of like Van Braces of the Summer Court, which gives you the extra smiting and the charisma, because you already have Titania's Glory. So yeah, it's literally just a charisma item. And then you would run... Does this give strength? Wow, I didn't know this had strength on it. That's crazy. And then instead of the intelligence, instead of the signet of Irmanir, you would do the Radiant Ring of Terra Valestis, which in here you had Essence of the Cracked Core, Essence of the Dark Diversion, and Mythic 2 and Brutal Blows. So you would just do that, and you would go Brute, Brutal Blows, Diversion. Let's go to Essence. Essence of the... Oh, are they not all in here? Wait, how did you get that to go in there? Oh, these are different colors probably, huh? Yeah, because you can't have Cracked Core Yes, because you have to have Essence of the Cracked Core here, and then you'd have to put that one in there. Yeah. Okay, I got it. I'm familiar with colors and how colors work. I'm a colors guy. So this drops your charisma a small amount, but then at least gives you wisdom. In exchange, you get quality accuracy and quality deadly, and you get the law absorption, which is totally useless. Belt of the Ram for con and quality strength, and Cloak of Summer. Yeah. You've got 2-piece on the Evidence of Winter set here. Although you've already got, I believe, artifact bonus to fortification bypass. Yeah, so you've already got that. You could get an extra 15% if you wanted, which means then you would drop out something else. Yeah, the Belt of the Ram for the summer set's also pretty good because, it, as you said, it does the quality strength and the Cloak of Summer. But you've already got quality strength from the 5 rings here. Oh, man. And then you also get Constitution built in, so you don't need Constitution on your Gogs, which means you could take another stat instead. Your Charisma is still a 70, but you don't really need another stat, which means would you want to even swap out your Collective Sight for something? But there's pretty much no other item other than Collective Sight you'd want to use on a character like this. Plus, it gives you all that other stuff. The belt is greater than 5 rings. This gives sheltering, resistance, heal, and quality strength, because this is all the magical resistance rating in the build. And resistance 14 is pretty good, but the heal doesn't really matter. Alternatively, instead, yeah, there's also the Ram's Might. I forgot that Ram's Might gives you extra strength. Because the Belt of the Ram, this is 3 additional points of strength, because it's 1 extra for quality, and it gives you Ram's Might, which is 2 extra strength, 2 extra damage. Plus it has Constitution 21 on it. So you can just do a swap in like that. Yeah, and you can augment the 32. And that pretty much entirely frees up your this slot. So you could do anything else that gives like resistance. So you could do, I don't even know if there's anything else in here. There's like stunning, which you don't need. Bronze figurine, which you don't want to wear at all. Holy God, that's a bad item. Trinkets are so weird in this game. Trinkets are so strange in DDO. You guys feel that? Yeah. And there's no deception. I would say that the deception is also really good, because the problem is you can't get deception anywhere else in a build like this unless you just swap out like a ring. Because the only other source of deception that I can think of that you could easily get is if you swapped out your bracers. Then if you swap out the bracers to something else, so let's say you swap the Van Braces of the Summer Court to like a Devil Scale Bracer because you want like the deception and the improved deception. And also you do get Insightful Seeker, because I believe it shows up. There's Seeker 21. Oh no, it doesn't show up here. So you do something like that. You swap this into Charisma instead. There's got to be a cheaper item. Deception. Is the Vinelash Bracers? No, it's Quality Deception, which is not the same. The Bloodbark Bracers, which are Improved Deception, but it's not the same. Hidden Blade is Deception. It's Quality. And then the Wildwood Wrists are, again, Insightful and Quality. Oh, but you need the Insightful Charisma. There's no other place to get it. And you basically just do something like that. So you get the deception on there, and then it gives you the free trinket slot. But the problem is, then what do you do with the trinket? Then what does this do? You pick up more strength, so your character has more stats than it had before. Have the deception back, which you don't have to worry about. You lose out on the Insightful Seeker, which is... Seeker is one of the lowest scaling stats in the entire game. Deception, but you have deception. It's already on these devil scale bracers. Because a lot of the other bracers don't fit. No, you can't use the Heart of Sulamades because you're using the Radiant Ring of Ter Valestus. And the Heart of Sulamades doesn't give any offensive stats, so it's not really good for this character, because the set is going to give you a sneak attack dice and artifact physical magical, which is kind of neat, but you don't really need those stats. And so doing something that's kind of neat, but then giving you stats you don't want is not so good. You don't want to do that. This has pretty much every other stat on it. So if you were to change this around, you could even leave this item on if you want, but with the resistance, but you would just change the quality strength to like, I don't know, quality con. Get yourself 4 more health. Wait, do you already have quality con somewhere in here? Wait, where's the quality con? Oh, it's on the Deep Snow boots. Quality charisma? Then you have all the strength, all the con, all the charisma. Because you got the insightful strength, you have the quality strength, you have the whole ass strength, you have the artifact strength, and you have the size bonus to strength. So your strength is now 108, your charisma is now 74. You still get a little bit of wisdom. You have speed. Yep, you have speed on the belt. You can change the feat, so now your feat is going to be changing over. Your saving throws are like pretty high, 117, so you can grab an epic saving throw feat if you wanted, or you could pick up PRR if you want to get some more PRR, which seems fine. Swap it in there. You can say like, oh yeah, I'm going to take the epic damage reduction if you want. So that's also a good option. It seems not too bad. And then again, the orb, I don't really think about swapping it out. The only thing is you probably don't need the extra armor penetration now, the fortification bypass, because you can just turn on precision, and you've got more than enough. It adds vuln and armor pen. Yeah. Yeah, because I forgot that Soul Razor doesn't. Now, you already add vulnerability stacks with your Fallen. So you already add vulnerability stacking, so it's fine. You don't need this, because you just stack it up anyway. I'm just saying you could replace your Thunderforged orb with a lot of other things. There's other good orbs out there, so if you wanted, you could even go for like a Heart of the Prince. You get your con here, and then you could swap. Well, you actually don't want to take your con out there, but you could take that if you wanted. Other options is you could just use an alchemical orb if you wanted, because there's some cool stuff you can craft with the alchemical orb. Very specifically on the alchemical orb, just because you don't need the stats. DDO alchemical crafting. Alchemical crafting. You could craft on your thing. What? You could give yourself like the incineration. This affects your main hand weapon, by the way, so you get the incineration effect. So then it allows you to like deal a whole bunch of damage on your main hand when you attack people. Or you could grab the magic resistance rating if you wanted. So you could magic resistance rating 55, which could be fine if you wanted to have that on there instead. You can get your tier 2, so you get an alchemical strength if you wanted +2 strength. You already have double strikes, so you don't have to worry about that. And then for the final tier, you can grab yourself +17 all saves as a defensive stat. You can grab the augmentate or the fire attunement, so it does damage when you hit people. Yeah, you've got a bunch of good options in here. So these are all pretty good. So yeah, I would say that you would probably fit in one of these. If you wanted, you could go with the MRR 55. Grab the extra magic rule resistance rating to make your character just generally tankier. You grab alchemical strength 2 for the extra strength, and then you would grab fire attunement just for the extra on-hit damage. This hits for about 1,000, and it procs 5% of the time. So an extra 1,000 damage every 20 hits. Not the worst. If you want to do something like that. Or alternatively, you could do whatever. Again, I think that the Thunderforged orb is a really cool idea, but you don't need the vulnerability stacking, and you don't need the Dragon's Edge, because this is this does not stack with the necklace that you have. Oh, that's Untitled. Oh, you don't have armor piercing anywhere else on the build. Oh, interesting. I thought you had another item that had armor piercing, but it's because you have the family's blessing, not the other one. I'm used to people using the other ring for the armor penetration. Yeah, it's probably fine the way it is. Because then you also get the vulnerability stacking, and then you just get the extra damage, so you just hit people really fast. You could also just swap this to something different, of course, if you don't want to use that. Because you don't need the extra vulnerability stacking. So you can use Mortal Fear, which is totally useless. Yeah. Your orb is weird. The orb is a very weird choice. Not a bad thing, just a very different choice. Okay, and I didn't look at your filigrees, but I'm going to assume you took the Paladin filigrees. Sucker Punch, One Against Many, Sanctified Fervor. Yeah, you're good. Just make sure you smite people. For build review, I play this as a DC favorite soul, but I thought out of a lot of light spells, Comet Fall, Flame Strike could use help with equipment and feats, and it's based on a build. For favorite souls based on charisma and wisdom. Played this bit as a human, had a lot of fun, but I want to know if it could be better. Thanks. Let's improve this character build. Okay, so we've got an Azamar, wisdom-based favorite soul. This seems perfect. Great job with the build choice so far. I like a lot of what you have going on here. So wisdom-based favorite soul. So let's move on to what feats are taken. Maximize is great. Past Life Arcane, good choice. Quicken, again, very good. Grabbing Unyielding Sovereignty. I really like Unyielding Sovereignty, just because it's nice to have, especially on a spellcaster, being able to clear up all the negative effects on your character. Evocation Focus, grabbing Heighten. Grabbing Empower. You do not have... You have a few spell-like abilities on this character, but you're going to be casting generally a lot of spells. I'm not a huge fan of Empower, just because, again, as I said, you're casting like more spells than you are casting spell-like abilities, and this increases the cost of your spells without increasing the damage as much. Quicken's not missing, it's right here. Level 6, Quicken's right there. I would also possibly move Quicken up just so you can have your 2 spell-like abilities be quickened right away. So I would change that actually. So I would do like Quicken spell here, and then move the Past Life Wizard just down a bit. And the only reason I would do that is just because at level you'll have both access to Sunbolt, which currently doesn't have a saving throw, and also Nimbus of Light, which doesn't have a saving throw, at level 3, and you can maximize and quicken both of them for very, very easy leveling, and then pick up some of the DC stuff when you get to the DCs at a little higher level. Again, Evocation Focus good, Heightened Spell is fine, Spell Pen is fine. I don't know how much Spell Pen you actually need on Favored Soul, but it does give you the prerequisite for some of the other Spell Pen feats, so this is not the worst thing to take in the world, so it's definitely something to consider. I don't love Empower spell here. There are so many other feats I think would be better suited for this spot. So a lot of very basic stuff. My main issue that I have with this is that your character, when are you casting Empower spell? What are you putting it onto? And how expensive is your Empower spell? These are all like important questions. Like if you're taking Efficient Metamagic Empower, then it's not too bad to burn in here. But you're not taking Efficient Metamagic Empower. So you're going to be spending 15 extra mana per spell cast to get 75 spell power. But your character, right now, if I just look at the level cap on light, is 657. So you're going to increase your damage by 11%, but you're going to increase the cost of most of your spells by about 30%. So I don't love it. I'm not a big fan of Empower. I don't recommend that you use it on this character, but yeah, we'll move from there. So I don't love Empower. Yeah, we're still tooling. We're gonna be changing some stuff. Bring the SLAs from Angel of Vengeance wouldn't be good for that. I mean, yeah, if you're running exclusively SLAs, it's not like the worst thing. I don't love it. Well, I'm gonna leave it. I'll leave it for now, but we'll keep moving on to other aspects of the build. Guardian Angel's not that bad of a feat for this type of character, because if you get under half, it gives you increase to your wisdom, or increased physical resistance rating based on your wisdom, and so it's not the worst thing to take. Find Defender, hate your illusory sprite? That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that question. Master of Light here is important because this is good for Sunbolt and Searing Light, which you cast all the time with this character. Mass Frog, great ability. Arcane Pulse, I don't think you're going to be casting a lot of Arcane Pulse, honestly, and I don't love Arcane Pulse. Deific Warding is usually a little bit better because it's 10 magic resistance rating and physical resistance rating. Yeah, I don't love Arcane Pulse. It's not something you're going to be casting all the time, especially because you have to stack it up, and it's really expensive. You would rather just cycle through your spell-like abilities than casting Arcane Pulse, which you can do. Yeah, no problem. But Deific Warding is plus 10 physical and magical resistance rating, which is really, really good for a single feat, which is not too bad. And then you grab Emboldened Spell, plus Sign of the Plane of Air. These are all good choices. Burst of Glacial Wrath, because you don't really have a lot of good crowd control. Sound Burst is okay, especially if you heighten it, but unless you decrease the cost of the heighten, it's going to be an expensive Sound Burst. Burst of Glacial Wrath is also nice because it does not hit spell resistance, which is pretty good. It ignores spell resistance. Yeah, Maximize is the first feat up here, so don't worry. Maximize has been taken, everybody. Let's move on to Epic Destiny. So you're using Exalted Angel. So as an Exalted Angel, you're not picking up Exoriorate. You definitely want to grab Exoriorate for a bunch of reasons. You also don't grab the Endless Fate, so I'll talk about some of the stuff and specifically why. So number one, Exoriorate. When your Righteous Fervor stack is 5 or higher, your light spells and smites have a 3% chance to stun opponents. You're basically always healing with this character, so you're always going to have max stacks of Righteous Fervor, because if you're casting heal spells to get the extra 30 spell power, which is what you want, you're always going to be at max stacks, and this gives you a chance to stun opponents for 6 seconds. There's a reason why Nerve Venom is so powerful from the Shirati Champion Tree. You want to use this all the time because of how good it is. It has a random chance to stun. This might not seem like it's a big chance, but trust me, when you cast a lot of spells, it is a big chance. So keep that in mind. And no, you can't use the goggles for XP anymore. They edited that out. That's also very good. Another thing is you want to grab the extra mana here because it's really important. It's powerful and impactful for the character. And my friggin' client is frozen again. Okay, great. I love that. I love when that happens. Anyway, so let's do a quick reset a Rooney of the tree here. You want to grab the mana because it's important. Avenging Light is good. It's basically the same thing as Nimbus of Light, except this doesn't have a maximum caster level, so you can definitely take this. It says it has a saving throw. I don't know if it does. I'm not sure. Spell Power is good. Grab Wisdom, grab this and this, grab Wisdom. Now you're at the top tier here. You grab the Sunbolt, and you got 1 point left over here because I spent 1. So instead of grabbing this extra Wisdom, you can grab a whole bunch of different stuff. Rebuke Foe is also really nice because it increases the amount of damage the monsters take, and it's a sick debuff. So it's definitely not too bad of a thing to take. Alternatively, you can grab some more healing spell power. If you happen to have that extra 1 point, you can take the 1 point anywhere you want. Alternatively, you can grab Leap of Faith, Piercing Spellcraft for the Spell Pen. Again, you have a lot of different options here as to where you want to spend that last point, but if you had the 25 points, oh man, that 25th point, I'm just thinking about it all the time now. I'm like, oh man, the 25th point. Because you could have Rebuke Foe. Rebuke Foe makes it so monsters take 5% more damage from you. This is what helps you kill bosses. That's important. Doesn't need Leap. No, this reduces the cooldown of Leap by 3 seconds. So it means, so instead of having to recharge every 15 seconds, it recharges every 12, just so you can leap more often. And you don't have the ability to take any of the Judgment here, so you don't take any of the Judgment. So yeah, I'd probably just take like 10 spell power. Something silly. Something simple like that. Use Empyrean Magic here. Obviously, this is really important and really good. You want to make sure you have that. You want to grab Spell Focus Evocation and Spell Focus Evocation. These are great twists. Your last twist, you have a couple different options in terms of your last twist for some of your low tier stats. Which I can't show you because my client is frozen. Anyway, some of the twists you can take here. One of the ones that I would recommend, obviously, there's out of Primal Avatar, you can grab yourself Rejuvenation Cocoon, which is pretty good. Even, you might think to yourself, but I'm playing as a healer, why would I take Cocoon? The thing is, this is exceedingly cheap, and it's a heal over time, which means you can just throw it on yourself and then keep doing stuff. Which is great. Or you can throw it on somebody else and keep doing stuff. That extra temporary 150 hit points is also amazing in Reaper mode because it just always gives you 150 temporary hit points. So even if the healing is not that good, that's going to save your life in so many different avenues. So I really like Rejuvenation Cocoon even on a character like a Favorite Soul that's like a pure healer. I love that. Alternatively, instead of that, based on your saving throws, instead you could also take the Magister, don't fail will saves on a 1, Impregnable Mind, but Rejuvenation Cocoon is probably the way to go there. I'm closing this window so it stops breaking the computer, and that's where we're going to end that segment. All right, and then lastly, let's get some extra damage and some extra stats in here. So you're starting off correct with the Blessed Vestments plus Hallowed Trail plus Hallowed Castigators complement here. These are definitely where you want to go. You want to get as much spell power as you can for your light spell power, so getting the top light spell power from Hallowed Trail is essential. Another important note about this character is you also only want Evocation DCs. You could, in theory, take Necromancy DCs as a secondary for Destruction, but Implosion is based off of Evocation, and that's pretty much where you're going to go. You also want to make sure you have Fire spell power for casting Firestorm, because Firestorm is really good. So, how do I get some more stats? Well, for starters, you want to use the best orb in the game for this type of character, which is in fact Resplendent Fury. Resplendent Fury is fantastic, and also lets you to craft Insightful Wisdom. Look at me. How happy am I now? Resplendent Fury is Insightful Radiance and Insightful Radiance lore, which stacks, plus it gives you temporary spell points whenever you cast spells, so it's very, very good. Then you want to figure out on some of your other items, getting extra stats. The Divine Augmentation here is not too bad because it increases your cast levels of your Divine spells. It also gives you Wisdom, and it gives you the Quality Spell Focus Mastery, so it's pretty good. But then you also want to grab some other different types of offensive/defensive stats. What else you got here? The Bronze Dragon Scale Belt. I don't love that. Do you have access to Feywild? I didn't ask this. Okay, good. Because there's no Feywild gear on here, so I just wanted to double check. All right, sick. So let's change a couple items. So number one, get rid of the Pansophic Circlet. I'm going to replace the Pansophic Circlet with an awesome item from the Feywild, the Crown of Snow. Now you might ask, why would you want the Crown of Snow? The reason why you want the Crown of Snow is because it has the Paragon of Cerulean Wave, which freezes monsters all the time. It procs literally all the time, and it's fantastic. Also, Empyrean Norse just subscribed with Prime. Welcome to the stream team. Appreciate the support. I'm glad to have you here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. And enjoying some build review of some Favorite Soul endgame item set. But yeah, you want the Spell Focus Mastery, the Insightful Spell Focus Mastery on this. It's just convenient to have. And then Paragon, the Cerulean Wave, is just good to have again. So with this, you've got the Evocation Focus and Insightful. So now you've got the quality with the gloves, and you've also got the Profane with this item here. Now you want to figure out how to get some of the extra stats into the build. You also, I love the potency, quality, and insightful potency on this, so that way it works to give you the extra stats for like your healing stats as well. This as well as fire. So again, it's not too bad. However, we have one winter item. Let's see if we can fit in the rest of them. So Flickering Steel gives you Vitality 67. Turn this into a Nocturne Ring. Gives you some bonus winter set. You want to get some of that defensive stat. That's juicy. This gives Insightful False Life 40, which is not too bad. It's a pretty good item. But we can probably... Oh, man. Wintering this sucks. Because the Dire Bear Belt doesn't... Most of the items here don't even stack. You get the Natural Armor, but that's pretty much all you get out of this item, which is just like pain. This is pain and sadness. Ugh, where else can you get winter set? And the standard issue sigil gives you the magical sheltering 54. Problematically, if you wanted to use the Winter Court necklace, which is not a bad item, giving you the profane spell focus as well as the life force 72, which is not too bad. You miss out on magical resistance rating now, and since you don't need profane, and this is only profane. Oh, this is all DCs, yeah. So then you could replace the Shattered Onyx as well. So you don't need to have the Shattered Onyxes at all, so you can use a different ring instead. Now you've got the 4-piece of the Winter set, which then allows you to have a little bit more health. So you're at 1504 life, which is better than you had before. Problematically, now you've also lost magical resistance rating, which you can't gain back. The only way you could get it back is if you use the Strap of Autumn Leaves belt, which is a really good belt for the winter and the autumn set combination, and it's one of the things I absolutely love about Feywild is this item. However, if you use that, then you have to give up on the Gilded Gloves of Sanctity, as well as the Quality Spell Focus Mastery, and also the Divine Augmentation, which increases your cast level of your spells, which you actually want because the maximum cast level on your spells is humongous. So you do want to keep this. On top of that, you also need to figure out how to get more Constitution into this build because you don't have a whole lot without sacrificing too much. So this is where it becomes a little bit complicated because it looks like you only have Constitution and not Insightful or Quality. So an easy solve here would be to replace the Sunken Slippers, but then you lose your Quality Wisdom. So then where do you get the Quality Wisdom from? And I believe the only item is a necklace. So you replace the necklace of the winter thing with the String of Ears for the Quality Wisdom, and also the Exceptional Prudent Skills, so you still have that Quality Wisdom. You replace the Sunken Slippers with the Deep Snow Boots, which gives you Insightful and Quality Constitution, bringing your Constitution up to a 58. And now your health is up to 1705, so you just gained 500 hit points. And unfortunately, you lost the some of the additional spell power, which is kind of bad, but you can get some of that back. Very specifically, this ring now doesn't really do anything. It gives you +2 DCs, and I think that's it. But you can replace this because you've got the stats on other places. So you can replace this ring. Also, you have the Bottle of Shadows, which is for +2 profane to all abilities, which is not bad, but it's 1 DC. You can probably replace this as well. Anyway, you replace the Shattered Onyx with the Summer's Heat Ring, which would give you the fire spell power for your fire spells that you actually cast, because your character casts a whole bunch of fire spells, which is not too bad. You replace the Night Mother Scepter with the Morning Lord Scepter because you have the Crown of Snow. The Morning Lord Scepter giving you the Insightful Potency, the Spell Sight, and the Insightful Spell Sight, which is increasing the damage with your spells in general. Also works with the Insightful Potency also works with your Hallowed Castigator, so you're only missing Quality now. So your spell powers are just generally a little bit higher. Some more light spell power. You've got some fire spell power now, and you've got more positive than you had before, as well as picking up a little bit more crit and some more defense. And the only item I would possibly change is the Bottle of Shadows here. Profane Well-Rounded is really good for the extra stats, but one of the items I've actually found myself liking a lot is Conduit of the Arcane. This reduces the cost of your Maximize and your Empower by 2 each, allowing you to very easily use these, which is pretty cool. And you also get the extra 440 mana, bringing your spell points up from 400 or 4,700 all the way up to 56, 53, so it's 1,000 mana. So yeah. That's not too bad. Wait, the Gogs have Insightful Wisdom? Oh, you don't even need Insightful Wisdom on these Gogs. You only need Constitution, pretty much. Dexterity? I don't think there's Constitution Goggles. Is there Constitution Goggles? I don't think there's Constitution Goggles, guys. I don't see it. I do not see it. Because the problem is you're always using the Resplendent Fury, which is always giving you Insightful Wisdom. So you don't need Insightful Wisdom on the goggles anywhere. On goggles, swap back to Sunken Slippers. But then you lose the Quality Constitution. The Quality. And also, you lose the 4-piece Winter set. Because then you'd have to swap the String of Ears, and you lose Quality Wisdom, and you get Quality Wisdom. You could use, like, a Slave Lord's item. Oh, right, you get the Quality Wisdom back. Yeah, you could do that. That would be fine, probably. So yeah, do, like, yeah, Sunken Slippers. Swap that back to Quality Wisdom is what you're saying, and then swap out the String of Ears back to the Winter Court Necklace for the extra health, and then swap this to Insightful Constitution. So then you're missing Quality Constitution, which is, so you lose a little bit of health, but your Wisdom stays high because you still have the Insightful Wisdom and everything else. You've lost the Profane, so technically this character has 2 less Wisdom than it did before, but then of course the upside is it's picking up Quality Potency. And then you've got Lesser Displacement, I believe only once as well. Yeah, so you have the Lesser Displacement effect on here as well, which is a spell you can't get. That's not too bad. And you got the Insightful Spell Site. And the extra mana. The one thing I didn't look through is the Enhancement Tree. I totally forgot. So let's back up a bit and redo Enhancement Tree. I completely forgot to check this out. Okay, so let's see what we got here. This is bad. I'm glad you didn't take this. That makes me very happy. You've got this, you got all this stuff, you got all this stuff, which is all good. Look at all this good stuff, guys. Unstoppable Magic causes enemies to have minus spell resistance. Again, this is a neat effect. It's not really necessary. Crown of Retribution, this is a bad effect. Don't ever take this. But the rest of the stuff is, like, pretty good. So there's no real changes I would make to this section of the tree. This is all the good stuff. If you have extra points, which you do, you could just take Efficient Metamagic. So you can basically take Efficient Metamagic Maximize. And with this, Maximize costs 11 less points, making it cost less than Empower. That's also an option. You can also grab extra healing crit out of Beacon of Hope. It's also important to note you get more universal spell power for every point spent in Angel of Vengeance, as well as additional spell points, so it's not too bad. You can grab more wisdom out of this tree, more wisdom out of this tree, and wisdom out of this tree. Your character is also grabbing Greater Color Spray, which is kind of neat. Don't super love that. You don't need Bend Light anymore because you've got, you already have it from your items, so you can swap this out. Yeah, you could grab the Ascendant form for the extra defensive stats. That's probably where this build would go in terms of where to spend the extra points. So I don't know why I'm on Steam. Go away, Steam. I got to make sure that doesn't turn on when I log in my computer anymore. So I would do something along the lines of, like, grabbing the extra wisdom here. More wisdom, so you have more Azamar Healing Hands. I guess you take the Divine Bond, but there's no, because there's nothing else to take. You take the Divine Purpose, which gives you, which you can just press as, like, a cool button, and then you take the extra divine charges, and how do you get more points spent in this tree for more CC? Yeah, your color spray is not going to land too often. That's the big thing, is that your color spray is probably not landing too often. That's what would make me nervous about this character. And the reason I say that is because you don't have any illusion DCs. So, like, if you check just the comparison here on the caster breakdowns, spell school DCs, your evocation is 50 and your illusion is 39. So you have to bank on the idea that that the monsters you're playing against are going to have such low saves that you'll be able to knock them down with this, when in reality you kind of just want to hit them with Burst of Glacial Wrath, which is not too bad, or you want to be hitting them with Comet Fall, which is a spell you're already taking as a spell-like ability, so you're already casting this. You're already throwing down Comet Fall. It's not the worst idea, it's just also not the best idea. Additionally, I would get rid of the blur here anyway to shave 1 point. So I would do one of these. You had a cat, I believe. Oh, I can't take that. Mana, 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 and then 1 point in Twist Reality. Grab the Wisdom, grab this, and then take this, so you save 1 point anyway. And then how do I get 1 more point to get the Ascendant Bond? How do we do this? Where do we get 1 point? Save for the Ascendant Bond. Shining Light is not the greatest, but it does give you 1% crit chance and 10 amp, and 10 amp is 10 amp. But if you can save 2 points in this tree, you drop this down to 8 points, which is probably where I would do it. So grab, like, one of these, even 9 points. You can go here, grab the Ascendant Bond, which gives you 5% extra hit points, 10 PRR, 10 MRR, and +3 to all saving throws. And then you get to keep the color spray. You don't need to buy a Totem of Racial Lands. You get to keep the color spray, and you lose. So basically, you lose 10 healing amp, but in exchange, you get an extra use of your Divine Protector, which gives you 30 healing amp when you press this button. So it's kind of like getting more for a temporary period of time, as long as you're pressing this at the right times. Plus, it gives you more extra determination bonus to your positive spell power as well, which is not too bad. And then you get this ability here, which is 5% extra life, 10 PRR, 10 MRR, and plus 3 stacking bonus to all saving throws, which is turned on all the time. Plus, you get to pick up the extra dodge chance from the stronger bonds, as well as the extra use of healing hands with your high wisdom. And your wisdom right now has been brought back up to 89, I think. Yeah, it's 89. If only I could squeeze in 1 more point of wisdom in the tree. But you don't want to give up close wounds, so I would not recommend doing that. If you could scrape 1 point out of Beacon of Grace, like so. If only this costs 1. Cost me 1, please. That'd be so sick. But yeah, there's only like 1 point. Too bad Divine Purpose Protector doesn't do that. You could take 1 point out of Beacon of Grace if you wanted and grab Tower Shield Proficiency, but you don't need that because you use orbs. You could grab Quick Draw if you wanted to be able to cast spells faster. Or not cast spells, but use Action Boost faster. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's any other changes I would make. And this is how I would change the character. A lot of good stuff going on here. I really like a lot of decisions you made, and this character's pretty cool. I personally probably wouldn't use Fade Arc Illusionist on this build. I would probably swap out of it, but if you like Color Spray, keep it. Because your DCs will be, like, you've got a lot of universal DCs, but I would probably swap out of this and put some more points. So pretty much take all 11 points out and grab, like, some more charisma, or sorry, grab some more wisdom here, probably pick up extra crit chance, more wisdom, that sort of thing. Alternatively, you could also just pick up the efficient metamagics here if you wanted, because you do take heighten. So you take the 11 points out of here and the 1 point here, giving you 12 points back. And then you take 2 points of efficient metamagic maximize, 2 points of efficient quicken, and then the 2 points of efficient heighten. So you can heighten all your spells, and they cost way less than they would normally be. Which means then you, instead of using stuff like Burst of Glacial Wrath, you could then use Sound Burst, which means then you could then take your the feat that you took on Burst of Glacial Wrath and spend that on something else, and you would change up your build a little bit. But that's a lot of changes. Depending on where you would go with that. And then you would also need to make sure you get good at casting Soundburst, because the basic idea is instead of then casting Soundburst, you would go here on your feats, and instead of taking Burst of Glacial Wrath, you would take Arcane Insight, which gives you +6 to all spell DCs for 30 seconds, and which is a similar idea, but you just get the spell DCs, so you just use that situationally whenever you need to have a few more DCs for going into a fight. Still, character's great. A lot of improvements. Now you've got more physical, magical resistance rating. All that is good. Character feels strong. And I just opened that menu again. Yeah, you got more mana. Like 1,000 more mana. More spell power. And then your crit chance should also be a little higher. So now you're up to 72% light crit. Which is not... And this, for some reason, is also not including the extra 10% you get from your Epic Destiny, your Empyrean Magic. It's not in here.